I had a lot of confidence being able to return to work as a full-time working mom and having a really small baby at daycare. There's a level of guilt that I had associated with that, feeling like my baby was still so young and still dependent on me for food, and having these facilities just signaled that it was encouraged, and I felt so supported that I could do this longer instead of having to stop breastfeeding earlier. It's such a short period in your employee's career, but it's such a pivotal moment in their life.
Allagash is a brewing company. We've been around since 1995. Always here in Portland. We're in the same spot that we started in 1995, and we sell beer in 20 states. We're all over Maine and throughout the Northeast. We have 140 employees, and about 100 of those are based here in Portland, and then we have a sales force that's based throughout the country as well. So we have a lactation program that provides paid lactation breaks during the workday. Through that program, also have a partnership with Pump Spotting for all employees when they have a baby.
I've been at Allagash 9 years. I have 2 children. They're 2.5 and 3.5 right now. I did have a conversation about what resources were available for breastfeeding moms, and I knew we had these facilities that we have, but I don't even think I ever looked at it until I needed to use it. The lactation room is located in the locker rooms, so it's a nice private space, pretty large area. It's fitted out with a comfy chair and a blanket and a little fireplace that's actually a heater and a fridge for storing milk. When I returned to work after my second, there were 3 of us using that room at the same time. We would make a calendar event and reserve the room in our calendars just so we could kind of give each other space and plan accordingly. There's a lot of support from managers to take these breaks, but also from other coworkers too. It's just expected. And I think a lot of that has to do with the culture that Allagash has established here to support parents.
Anytime someone has a big life event like the birth of a child, we have them do a meeting with our benefit and payroll specialist where she sits down and talks through everything, and then she'll also meet with you after the baby comes before you return to work. And we always include the partner there as well if they would like to be involved. For the last 4 years, have partnered with a local clinical therapy practice called WellSpace. Through WellSpace, we offer free therapy to employees. We offer 10 free visits a year. And what's really important is that they can get employees in right away.
A recent Maine survey found that 18% of new moms said that they experienced postpartum anxiety, and 33% said that they needed to access mental health services. So we know that breastfeeding can be a protective factor when it's going well against postpartum depression and anxiety. We also know that if it's not going well and they're not receiving the support and the care that they need, it can be an increased risk factor for postpartum depression and anxiety.
Something that's really important is educating your managers, especially if you or if your managers have never experienced breastfeeding before or breastfeeding at work.
We just had a case in which I went to talk to the employer, and they got all their managers involved, and we did a huge training on the Pump Act, what it looks like, what the requirements are, and the managers were really receptive. And I think the more support and education that an employer has, or even employees have, so that they know what the law requires, you're just going to get more support that way.
Breastfeeding is one component of supporting women that are returning to work after having kids. And even if mothers return to work and they're not breastfeeding, they still need a lot of support. Your hormone changes and your physical body changes, and mentally your little babies are at daycare, they're not with you, they're with a caretaker somewhere. I think it's important to talk about every single time there's a parent returning to work, mom or dad returning to work, just talking with their managers and even their team about that transition and how we can support them in the workplace.